Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and we are back with Anthony's 31 Days of Tarot. And so I left off on day 20. So day 21 says, what cards relate to you personally, not just your astrology association or court card. And I really thought about this, but I always, even before I knew how to read tarot, resonated with the Hermit card. I'm an introvert. Everything about me says Hermit. So it is one of the main cards that I always associate with. I always feel a kinship toward. And it's funny because the Chariot is my soul card. And there's another card, your soul card and your life path card or something like that. Both cards are the Chariot for me. And I don't resonate with the Chariot at all. I'm still trying to figure out why or how that's my soul card, how that resonates with me in some way. But I've always resonated with the Hermit. It's all about going inward and doing this introspection on life, on everything. And I've always been that person that's always like seeking the truth of things, the deeper meaning of things. And I think that to me is why I resonate with the Hermit more than actually being a hermit myself, is always seeking this deeper meaning of life. And that's why I always resonate with the Hermit. And then I do resonate considerably with the Eight of Swords as well. It is my favorite card in any deck, except this deck. And I've talked about this card before. I don't actually care for this Eight of Swords. It's very dark, almost suicidal in a way, where he's just like, there's nowhere to turn. I'm just going to end it. And I don't like that. But normally, I resonate with the Eight of Swords, like with my Light Seers, where she sees herself tied up and bound in the mirror and blindfolded, but she's not that way in reality. And it took me a very long time to see that I wasn't bound, I wasn't blindfolded in my life. So I resonate very deeply with that card, and it helped me in 2020. I'll go through a sort of transformation, if you will, that started pretty much in 2019 with the Eight of Swords. And that's the other reason I resonate with this card very deeply. And I resonate with the Strength card as well, just because I've had a lot of things I've had to overcome in my life, a lot. And it's odd to me how some people can have different levels of strength. And I just have this very strong, I'm going to continue no matter what. Every time somebody says you can't do this or you can't do that, I've proved them wrong. And it takes a certain kind of strength for that. And that's why I resonate with this card. Now, I do resonate with the Queen of Swords on some level. The Suit of Swords is my favorite suit in any deck. And I resonate more with the Queen of Swords. I feel like I should resonate with the Queen of Swords more. Because she's cold and calculated when she needs to be, but underneath there's this heart of gold, this beauty that rarely comes out. And I feel that is me to a T. And it's funny because I was like, I should resonate with this card. I'm more drawn to the Queen of Swords than anything else. But at the same time, I resonate deeply with the Queen of Pentacles. She's all about grounding, all about the earth, all about nature. She's one with the animals, and that is me to a T, because give me a walk in the woods and, some deer and some little bunnies hopping around any day of the week, and I will be a happy camper. So I feel like I am drawn to the Queen of Swords, maybe because of my past and stuff like that, but I am essentially the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, so that was question 21. What cards do you resonate with personally? So now we're on to day 22, which is today. If you're shipwrecked on a deserted island, which 5 tarot oracle decks would you want to have with you and why? And I don't know if it's meant to have a combination and have just 5 straight out, but you know I'm going to show 5 of each. So I don't know if that's cheating or what, but I'm showing 5 of each because I couldn't narrow it down to 5 total. So my first, where did I just stick them? So the first deck, it would help if I hold it forward, that I would keep, tarot deck that I would keep with me is the Tarot Illuminati. And this is more for nostalgia purposes just because it's the deck I learned on. It's quite gorgeous. These are the backs. I love this deck. Just because it was the deck I actually finally was able to open my eyes up and read with. A death card. I love that. And so this will always hold a special place in my heart just because, this is the deck I learned to read with. I love the 3 of Swords. I've talked about that many times. So yeah, this is number 1 on my list of decks I would take with me just because it's my workhorse deck, I guess. The deck I learned with. So there's deck 1. Deck 2 should be no surprise. My Light Seers Tarot. This is my soul deck. I've talked about it many times. I've used it. These are the backs. Of course, the card on top is the card that stalked me in 2020. But yeah, this deck has shown me so many things about myself in the last year, year and a half. I could not be without this deck ever. It's like I've said before, it's that best friend that you never thought you had, never thought you would have. It's gentle when it needs to be. It's harsh when it needs to be. It's that friend that's not afraid to tell you how it is just because your feelings might get hurt. And that's the kind of friendship I've always needed in my life and wanted in my life. So it's odd that I found it in a tarot deck, but here it is. So yeah, that is, love that magician. My Light Seers Tarot. Looking for the 8 of Swords. It's probably in the back. This is my favorite 8 of Swords ever. I always do this. I'm like, I'm not going to show a card. Yeah, my favorite 8 of Swords ever. Beautiful. I was I'm not going to show a card and then I go to show it because I can't help myself. Goodness. So that was deck 2. Deck 3, and I almost feel like the energies of the Light Seer and the Bone, Stone, and Earth Flesh Tarot have the same kind of energy. I could not imagine being without this deck. It's very deep. Again, it's like that friend that's not afraid to tell you like it is. And I could not imagine going through life not seeing this artwork every day if I wanted to. But I love that. Ace of Swords. It's a quill pen. I mean, come on. And like I said, it has a lot of the same energy as my Light Seer. So that it's not quite, look at that. Ace of Cups. Come on. It doesn't quite have the same exact energy. There's my Soul card. It's actually the only chariot I like in any deck that I have. I love that 4 of Pentacles. I mean, come on. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous deck. I've talked about this many, many times since I got it in August, September, something like that. The aces in this are just fantastic. It doesn't quite have the same exact energy, but it's so close to the same energy as my Light Seers that I couldn't imagine life without it. So that was deck 3. Deck 4 should be no surprise. My Encore Tarot. I've talked about this deck many, many times. I mean, look at that red gilding. And I've showed it in this 31 Days of Tarot like 5 times probably already. It's gorgeous. Let me see if I can find the moon. Look at the death card. Gorgeous. I mean, the artwork in this is so stunning that I just I couldn't go through life not knowing this was out there and not having it with me all the time. Anytime I wanted to look at it. It's a fantastic reader. That High Priestess. Come on. Beautiful. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And I hate borders, but I don't mind borders on this deck. That Ace of Coins is gorgeous. Look at all the animals and the nature. It's just very earthy feeling to me. Gorgeous. I'm trying to find it, but it's eluding me. It's always eluding me in this deck. I could not go through life knowing this moon card was out there somewhere and I did not have it. That is the most fantastic moon card ever. Yeah, it's fantastic. So that's deck 4. And then deck 5 had to throw RWS in there. My 2.0 tarot by Off Make Playing Cards. It's the first RWS deck that I've ever resonated with. I have since gotten a few more that I resonate with, but we've been through some special times with me in this deck. Some fun times. So, and the coloring is gorgeous. Now, my Borderless Centennial that I just got in December, I think, or end of November, is catching up pretty close to this, but the images, look at that. I mean, the skies in this are just fantastic. So yeah, this would be my one RWS deck I would take with me wherever I go. If I was shipwrecked on a deserted island. So next I'm going into my oracles. And I really had to think about this because I've showed different oracles and I forgot a couple when I did my top 5. So I'm not forgetting them this time. First one is my Secret Pocket Mildred Payne Oracle deck. This deck is it's super small. I love it though. Love it. It's got this great energy to it. I use this a lot for mediumistic reads, which has yielded some very interesting things. And that's why I bought this deck. To help me grow my mediumship abilities. And it's helped quite a bit. But yeah, I love this deck. Love it, love it, love it. And it's so simple. And every now and then it's got blood on it. I love it though. And I like the little story behind it. And it's just fantastic. A fantastic deck. And that goes with me everywhere I go in my purse all the time. So next we have my second favorite deck of all time. The Oracle of Echoes by Anatorian. And I mean, I fell in love with this deck before I even ever knew there was a Bone Stone and Earthflesh tarot it's her artwork as well. And I mean, if my Bone Stone and Earthflesh tarot is in my top 5 tarot, this has to be in my top 5 oracle because it's the same artist and it's glorious artwork. And this deck reads so great. It's just, this is probably my number 1 oracle deck of all time. Honestly. I mean, come on. Decisions. Look at that. There's 2 paths. Spirit guides. Oh, she's the tree. I mean, it's fantastic. And yeah, it has to go with me on the ship, the deserted island. So that's deck 2. And we have deck 3. Sacred Rebels Oracle. And I've talked about this deck a few times. This deck was potent before I ever knew what it was. Yeah, this card right here, I actually watched somebody do a pick a card reading. I picked a card, and it was at a time where I was worried about becoming a writer, and this card was the card on top. The word wants to be written. And then she's like got her third eye opened, it looks like, and she's downloading this info, and it spoke to me so much. I started crying when I saw this. And then this one, come to life. She's painting herself to life. It just, this deck is deep, 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 deep. And I cry almost every time I use this deck. And I don't cry. I don't normally cry. I have a very hard time crying when it's appropriate. So just the mere fact I finally released some of those emotions out when I'm using this deck means this was the reason I bought this deck. And it's gorgeous, and it's everything, and I could not imagine not having this deck. So, yeah. That was deck 3. We have soul cards. I kind of get the same feeling I do with the Sacred Rebels, except there's no keywords. It's all based on your intuition. And this deck is scary accurate, I'll say. Scary accurate for a deck with no keywords or nothing. And it's going completely off my intuition, which is why I got it, to help strengthen that intuition ability and not be so scared of what comes out. Yeah, love this deck. Love it. Okay, and then the last deck I got off Make Playing Cards. It's the Shaman Oracle. I got this little patch for it. It's thinner cardstock. It's still Make Playing Cards cardstock. It just feels thinner. But it's a normal size Oracle deck size. It's super deep. Super deep. I feel very connected to ancestors with this deck, and I'm always into working with ancestors' work. So this would be a deck it would be one of those workhorse decks that I would take with me on the deserted island to work with my ancestors. And the images are just amazing. And I can feel this like humming, zinging kind of energy just holding this deck. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. It was like 17, 18 bucks on Make Playing Cards. And it was so worth it. So worth it. It's gorgeous. So that is the Shaman Oracle off Make Playing Cards. So that was day 22. Day 23. What is your most sassy tarot deck? What is your most gentle tarot deck? And why did you pick these decks? Tarot de She is my most sassy tarot deck. I've trimmed and edged it in this purple. It's like the perfect trim job ever. I'm so proud of that. But this deck, and it's funny because I was thinking of this card when I picked this deck. This is why, to me, this deck is sassy, because it's like this powerful, she's breaking away from the mold. She's breaking out of this external part of who she used to be and becoming something greater, something more powerful. And I feel like that just embodies the word sassy to me. But yeah, it's, and this is the other one I was thinking of too. Escaping stagnation, and it's all black and white here. She's coming up out of the stagnation, from being stuck, and the hands are all here. She's turning into color, and she's reaching for the star, the sun, and it's just, it's deep, but it's got a little bit of an attitude, I think, and I love that. Love that about this deck. Love it. And the images are gorgeous. Oh, look at that Temperance card. Come on. Oh, and I love that one. Dreamer 9. Nightmare. Perfect. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous deck. And I feel very connected to the Fae when I read this, with this. And it's, to me, the Fae in this deck are very sassy and very in your face, kind of. And I love that about this deck. And they pack no punches. If you don't like it, walk away. Kind of deal. And then my most gentle deck, and if you've been watching my channel, you're going to know the answer to this. It is my Oak, Ash, and Thorn. I mean, come on. Even the dark cards in this deck, which I've talked about a few times, even the dark cards in this deck, Eight of Swords, are just so sweet and gentle. And I look at that Hermit. I mean, come on. He's so freaking cute. I love this deck. I love how sweet it is. Like, yeah. I don't know why they're all upside down. It's so beautiful and so sweet. And even if I pull like a darker card, I'm like, yeah, but I don't really see it as dark. Which kind of me is a good thing, because I can go down a dark spiral. Again, the Five of Wands killing me with this card still. They don't look like they're fighting or competition. They look like they're playing to me. And maybe that's the message in this card with this deck, that you should take more time to play. Instead of always going, you know, day to day, work, taking care of your family, take time for yourself to play. Yeah, it just hit me. I love that. And they all have little, most of them have little hearts on their butts or their tail. Yeah, Nine of Swords. It's still so sweet. You know, it's supposed to be a nightmarish card. It, to me, just looks like he's resting and he's sleeping well. He's guarded by all the swords from anything getting to him. See, I turned it around. And maybe that's why I was so drawn to this deck, because I've got so many that have pulled out so much negativity from me, that I had to have something so sweet to offset that and be like, look, you can still look at the positive in everything. And that's what I do with this deck, is I see the positive in everything, no matter if it's a darker card or not. I see the positive. So that's my sweet, sweet, sweet deck. And then I'm just going to do day 24. Really not going to show anything. But day 24, it says, share one tarot myth you used to believe and why you stopped believing it. I really didn't have any tarot beliefs when I started learning tarot back in 2019, because I'd already heard rumors, oh, don't listen to other people, don't, you know, do what feels right to you. So that was the motto I've always stuck with, is do what feels right to me. But the one myth I have been still hearing from people on Facebook is that you can't buy your first tarot deck, and that's crap. I know that because I bought all my decks. And they have been powerful at times. They've helped me understand a lot of things about myself. And I don't think if that myth was true, those things wouldn't have happened if I had bought my decks. So, yeah, that's crap. Just when you go to buy a tarot deck, my advice is buy one that resonates, because my first tarot deck I didn't, because I knew nothing about tarot. But buy one that you feel a connection with, and you will never go wrong. So yeah, that was day 24 of Ethany's 31 Days of Tarot. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And you guys have a great afternoon. Bye.